I have an LG LED TV that's a 3D set, and right now I'm having HDMI issues. So when I plug in my HDMI cable into the TV, it just goes to a black screen. Now currently I am plugged into HDMI 2, so if I try one of the other HDMIs, and I'll go into HDMI 1, that one seems to work. So it looks like right now my issue is isolated to HDMI port number 2. I did check already 3 and 4 and those are functional. So let's open it up and find out why HDMI 2 is not working. I've just removed the back cover off of the TV, so let's plug it back in and reassess where we're at. So plugging it back in, let's see, it is turning on automatically. So let's plug our device back into HDMI 2 and plugging it into power. So my main suspect is going to be either the HDMI port itself or the HDMI processor. So if we follow the traces here, you'll see that they just go over here, all the way to this processor chip. So those are going to be my two main suspects. I did take a look inside of that port already. It does look okay, nothing out of the ordinary. So I don't think it's going to be the issue. Two things we want to do. We want to see if this chip is overheating and also do some resistance checks with our multimeter. So we'll go ahead and do that in a minute. I do want to see first, with everything plugged in, does it get hot? If I put my finger on there, it does feel very warm. So typically these are not supposed to get extremely hot. They're supposed to stay fairly cool. And at this moment, I can't actually keep my finger on there. It's getting a little too warm for that. So that makes me think there's something going wrong in this chip. So let's go ahead and remove the board from the TV and bring it to the bench. We have the circuit board under the microscope, and as you can tell, we do have a series of components around the silicon image. So to avoid having to spend a lot of time looking at the schematics and identifying specific data input and output, voltage input and output, typically something that's a little bit easier is just to check for shorts on components around the board. I did find that capacitor C708 is showing a lot lower resistance than it should. So when I do my measurement, I'm getting on this board about 250 ohms. Now we can see that one of the sides of the capacitor is going to pin 37, and so that is the one. If I grab that pin to ground, and I'm going to use the just the port over here as ground, my common ground, I am getting that 250 ohms. Now on a good fully functional board, I'm actually supposed to be seeing 46K, so 46,000 ohms, and that's not the case. So that is what's going to be the indicator telling me the silicon image is shorted and needs to be replaced. So let's go ahead and do that. For the removal process, what I've been doing, and you can't see on the microscope, is preheating the board with bottom heat, because this chip specifically does have a bottom pad. And I'm also going to do a little bit of flux around all the edges. And then we're going to hit it with some hot air from the top. So right now I have the bottom heat and the top air at, I believe, 400 Celsius for the top and about 300 or 350 Fahrenheit from the bottom. All right. And the chip lifted right off. Okay, I am seeing a couple bridges right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up. And then before we put the new chip on, I'm gonna recheck my capacitor C708 right over here to make sure the short is gone. Okay, and my multimeter is actually showing open, meaning there is no short, but it's also not detecting anything, which makes sense since the chip is gone. So the short is removed. Let's put the new chip on, and then we'll redo one more check before we live test the board. I didn't clean up any of the old flux. I'm actually gonna, or the old solder. I'm gonna use the flux and solder to help me reattach this. Okay, and I don't need to line it up perfectly. Once we get to our melting temperatures, the chip should, in theory, just slide into place as it should be. Okay, that'll be good enough. Oh, and I don't know if you just saw it, it just moved a little bit. So I'll give it a little push, and it just lined up. All right, so we're all set. We'll let it cool off, and then we're gonna do a quick check to make sure all of the pins are properly soldered on. Now I'm gonna do a quick little cleanup. with some alcohol and a Q-tip. Try and get rid of all the flux. And then I'm going to finish it off with the toothbrush. All right, in order to confirm that all of our joints are properly soldered in, we're gonna need to tilt the board and take a closer look. And looking at it a little closer, I do see that all of the joints are properly making contact, at least on this side, to the chip. Let's go ahead and rotate it 90 degrees. Check the next side. And looking at this side, it does look like most of it is correct. However, this one down here, I do see a tiny little bit of solder. I'm not entirely convinced that that's making proper contact over here. So I'll go ahead and just do a quick little touch up, add a little extra solder with my iron, but the other joints do look okay. So let's rotate it again. Okay, and then this side over here looks okay as well. And this side also looks okay. Okay, so we'll just finish up and touch up that last pin, which is pin 54. And that should actually do it. Another quick little cleanup. So looking at it under the microscope a second time, it looks like that pin now has plenty of solder, whereas it didn't before. Let's make sure that our short didn't come back after reinstalling the new chip. And we have 46, 47 kilo ohms, 48. Yep, so that's good. Our short is gone. The HDMI port number 2 should be fully functional now, so let's go ahead and live test it. Everything's connected back in, so let's plug it in and see what we get. We'll also reconnect our Fire Stick here. And I'll do a quick check to see if it's getting warm. And this time it is not getting warm at all. So it is room temperature. I'm not getting any heat whatsoever. And I just heard the audio. So let's take a look at the screen. Yeah, and we have the Fire TV. So this is still the same HDMI. We haven't changed anything. This is HDMI 2, and it's functioning now. So if you've experienced a power surge or lightning strike in your area and now one or more of your HDMI parts doesn't work, you will have to replace your HDMI processor chip just like we did in this video. If you're trying to do the repair yourself, just be aware there are some kits that have HDMI chips with audio problems. So you'll install your chip, everything will seem to work, but the audio will just not come through. If you want us to fix it, we will check the audio is working and ensure that you have a 1-year warranty on the repair. If you liked the video, if you found it helpful or useful, I just don't want audio. If you like the video, found it helpful or useful, leave us a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.